Good day, folks. This is Greg Judy at Green Pastures Farm. Here we are again. Yeah, I just did a video on Friday. Yep, it was Friday morning when we got to 2, and we actually ended up at 2 4/10 inches of rain on Friday. And then Saturday, it kind of sprinkled a little bit. And then we actually went to a pasture walk in Kansas City at Elizabeth, which is one of our Green Hills Project member, and her husband. I apologize, I forgot your name, sir. But Elizabeth hosted the Green Hills, and she lives right outside of Kansas City. And there was tornado warnings all yesterday. And so we took off from Kansas City coming back this way last night. It was about 4:30 or 5. And we got into some rain, but man, you could just tell something was building. And looking at the satellite, there was a red cell that covered all of Missouri last night at 10:30. And we stayed up till 11 something. We were prepared. We had our light, our raincoats, our boots. We were going to go to the storm cellar that we had outside our house, but we never really got the heavy winds. But it started raining at about 11:15. Folks, it never stopped. It never stopped raining the whole night. Every time I woke up, I love the sound of rain. It puts me to sleep, but I'd wake up and I could hear it coming. It was hard rain. So like a little kid on Christmas morning, seeing what presents were underneath the tree, I took off running gleefully out onto the porch where our rain gauge is this morning, and we had 3 inches. 3 additional inches. So that's 5 4/10. Yep, 5 4/10 in 3 days. Well, so I come over to move the bulls this morning, and it wasn't raining when I left. But I've got my raincoat, I got my rubber boots, my trusty. I love these boots. These are the Hisea. As far as I'm concerned, best boots I've ever had. Some people, well, you can get these by typing in Greg's Boots. You get a 15% discount. Anyway, I love these darn things. I wore these turkey hunting. I wore them mushroom hunting. I wear them on my chores, cutting brush. They're just tough boots. I like them. But look at this. This is the entrance to our new farm. That's the creek that they went across. I was kind of curious this morning when I came over. I really thought that whole road would be underneath water down there. I'm gonna see if I can zoom in on it. Oh, here, let me turn on the windshield wipers. There, you can see it better. There. And that's the ditch there. It's got 2 big 18-inch culverts in it. They might be 2 foot. Yeah, I think they're 20 inch. Anyway, there's a pretty good tributary coming down through there. You can see what I've got to drive through. There's rock on that down there, kinda. The developers didn't go out of their way to put a lot of rock on it, because that's just money out of their pocket. This is the farm that was going to be developed into houses. And Jan and I bought it and took out all the survey markers, all the 10-acre tract survey markers, and built fence on it. And you can see our fence. And we're grazing the bulls and the steers over here. So I came down the blacktop a while ago, and I'm like, I wonder where they're at. You know, every single animal is out there grazing. Can't see them from here, but they're out there grazing in that pasture. And I've got another paddock I'm going to give them this morning. When it slows up a little bit, I'm not going to get out here. I mean, I bet you we've already got, just since I've been here, I bet we've got another 1/2 inch. I mean, it's coming down. I mean, look at this. I turned my windshield wipers on. Percy Creek, which is a major tributary that runs through our farm, and it runs into the Missouri River over by Columbia. Percy Creek, I have not seen it out of its banks in 3 years. This is the third year that we were going to be in a drought. This is a drought buster. That's what this is. This is a drought buster. Percy was out of the banks. It was out into the fields, and it literally had one crop field completely underwater. And if they had already planted corn in there, it would have taken it all. But they disc it, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, maybe, yeah, it was 2 weeks. Brought a great big 32-foot disc in there, just disc the bejeebers out of it. And now with this rain, it's going to be ugly. It's going to be real ugly. That Percy's trying to take that whole field. It's literally going out into the edge of the field, and it just keeps getting wider and wider. And I think it's going to take the whole field. This morning, the whole field was underneath water. So you got bare ground, and it rains like this. look what I'm looking at right here. See that? See that bare spot up there above the creek? That's where they went and got a bunch of the dirt to build that up, to put that crossing in down there. And it's washing. I can't wait to get this fixed. They just weren't very good road builders. I'll just stop right there. But anyway, I am so thankful for the rain. We've been praying for rain for months, and you know, God finally answered our prayers. And I'll tell you what, for those of you all that haven't had rain, it doesn't hurt a darn thing to pray. I will do everything I can. I didn't do a rain dance. I didn't go out and dance around in the yard and do that. But I tell you what, without rain, it's pretty tough to grow grass. You've got to have some moisture. And we were going along. We still had about 2.5, 3 weeks in front of us on this new farm that we hadn't grazed yet. But I was monitoring the grass behind me when we took the cows off, when we first came onto this farm. Folks, it was not regrowing. Not very, I mean, I think we had about 2 inches of growth in 3 weeks. That's unheard of for a spring flush. Usually in spring flush, you're just buried in grass in a period of about 2 to 3 weeks. You can't keep up with it. That was not happening here. So the clovers were coming really good. Folks, this is going to make our clover just absolutely go bonkers. We had red clover up that was, 4 or 5 inches tall, but it was stalled out. It didn't have any moisture. And clover is not very deep. It's not a very deep-rooted plant. And so this rain is absolutely the recipe. That's what it needed. So, yeah. Awesome. I love it. I love the rain. It's just a very, very welcome addition to Green Pastures Farm. And I gotta give a plug for our grazing workshop yesterday. Elizabeth and her husband run sheep, and I hear people make several different reasons why they can't do grazing and they can't run animals and such. Well, Elizabeth and her husband, Elizabeth works full-time in Kansas City, and I believe her husband might be retired now, I'm not sure, but they're running sheep, and they started out, I forgot now, 3 years ago. They came to our grazing school. I did a video with Elizabeth in the fall, I believe it was. It could have been spring, I don't remember. I think it was fall. And she was so passionate and so anxious and eager, and she just had the drive to do something with ruminants. And so she went home and started looking at pasture areas and yards, areas around Kansas City that people were either mowing or they weren't doing anything with. And she started out very small. She's had I think maybe 3 or 4 or 5 ewes. Folks, she's got over 50 now. 50. And, she's in an area there's no water. There is a creek. Sometimes they can pump out of, but you talk about thinking outside the box. This gal and her husband, they laid out a tarp at the top of the hill. A tarp. A tarp, I don't know if I get the measurements right, but I believe it was 20 by 40. Yeah, 20 foot wide by 40 feet long. 800 square feet. On top of the hill, kind of on an angle, and she bermed it. She put a berm around the tarp on the edges. She staked it down, and then she put a trough on one end of it. And she's catching her water for her sheep on that tarp. And it goes into IBC totes. And the other day they captured 780 gallons in one rain. And so the totes are on top of the farm on the hill. So she's using gravity, and she went and got some pipe from Powerflex Fence, some polyethylene, and she's running just snap couplers and watering her sheep. She didn't have to carry buckets of water anymore. And got a couple guard dogs out there. And I was just, now there's a gal that is guaranteed she's gonna make it happen. And she goes out there before work, and she goes out there after work. And you can tell that's probably the best part of her day, is spending time with her animals. Nice flock of sheep, and they're doing a great job. So Elizabeth, kudos to you and your husband. And I apologize, I forgot your husband's name, but you know who I'm talking about. And you're doing a great job. Keep it up. You've had a lot of hardships. You've had to move a couple times, and now you're on this new farm. And I was impressed with the landlady owner. She's got passion. I think she really likes what y'all are doing out there. And I think it might be a really good long-term relationship for all of y'all involved. And there's a young man out there that's got a couple cows on there too. And he's doing the food forest thing and planting some trees. And he's got a lot of passion too. So yeah, there's a lot of energy in that group. And I think that's what it takes to be successful in this business. So all the best to you guys up there at Liberty, Missouri, and keep it going. Folks, I'm going to sign out here. The rain is starting to slack off a little, and I'm going to go move some bowls and enjoy the rain. Take care.